In this video, we're going to create a collectible that you have to collect in order to reach the goal. In the previous video, we already set up our player character. We have our level set up. We have our environmental hazard. Okay, so in order to create our collectible, I'm going to add a UV sphere. I'm going to press grab X, drag it into my view, and grab Z to move it up a little bit. I'm going to make this into a coin, so I'm going to scale it a little bit. I'm going to scale it on the scale, let's say X 0.5. Scale on the Z 0.5 too. Oh, I did not. So scale Z 0.5. I don't know if I want it perfectly round like that. Maybe scale X 0.5 again. Not too small. Oh wow, you can play around with that. Scale X, maybe 0.25. Oh, not 25, 75, 75%. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, so I'm going to add a property to this like I've been doing. I'm going to call this a coin. I'm going to make it yellow. I'm going to get rid of specular lighting. There's our coin. I'm stuck to it. All right. So I'm going to adjust the physics on this. I'm going to make it a ghost so we can go through the coin. And I'm going to add some logic to this coin. When we detect a collision with the player, we want to do two things. We want to make the coin invisible. Hide. Name this player. Go ahead and name this coin over here. But a player can still collide with an invisible object. So if we leave it there, then the player could continually collect the coin over and over again. So in order to fix that, I'm also going to do the same thing I did with the enemy, where I shoved it off the back of the level. So I'm going to add a motion. Let's drag this up here a little bit. I'm going to shove it in the Y direction into the level. Just like shove 10. Say, I'll call this shove. And this just kind of moves it out of the way. Alternatively, you could edit the object and like delete the object when the user touches it, but I've run into issues with that not working with respawning. So I like the idea of hiding it and shoving it out of the way, just putting it out of reach of the player. So go ahead and test this out. Got the coin. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a collection. So I'm going to right click over here and say new collection. I'm going to call this coin. I'm going to add my coin to this collection. And what this is going to do is it's going to let me create multiple instances of the coin. Get out of camera view. So I'm going to position this coin. Let's make one here. And then what I could do is right click on my coin collection and say instance to scene. And that creates a copy of it, which will act the exact same way. I have this issue for whatever reason whenever I do the first instance to scene, the origin gets messed up. So if that happens to you, like your origin's over here and you can't collide with the object, what you have to do is go to object set origin, center of mass volume. and that'll reset the origin. But it only seems to happen on like the first one. So if I do instance to scene again, I get a coin here where the origin is set up correctly. So I'll make it the same height. So I can do that by doing this pull-out panel. So this one is 7.35. I'll just copy that. I can make it like an easy 8 or something like that. There we go. So they're all the same height. Move it over so you have to jump to collect these coins. All right. So next I'm going to make my goal. I'm going to scroll over here to the end and I'm going to add a cube. So add mesh cube, GZ. Oh, I got 3 cubes. Why did I do that? Oh, because I added it to my coin collection. Don't want to do that. Just call this general. Well, click on my general collection. Now I'm going to add my cube. Move it over here. Scale X 0.25 and scale Z, let's say 5. Yeah, that'll work. GZ, move it up. I have snapping on, so I'm snapping it to the face. GX, move it over. I put it in the middle of there. I'm going to give it a material. I'm going to give this, what color should I make my goal? Maybe purple. Why not? Turn off specular lighting. Oh, I'm going to call this goal. And I'm going to go physics. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to initially, I guess I could leave this visible. I'm going to make it invisible to start with. Because I'm going to add some customized logic to this. So what I'm going to do is add a property to this goal. Coins collected. This is going to keep track of how many coins have been collected. I'm going to make this an integer. And we're going to start out with 0 coins collected. So up here in the browser, I can control click on the coin. I'm going to rename this to goal so I know which one it is. So if I have my goal selected and I control click on the coin, I can see the logic for both the coin and the goal at the same time. And I want to add some some logic here when the player collides with the coin. So we're collecting the coin, we're hiding it and shoving it off the edge. But I also want to increment the coins collected property. So I'm going to add a actuator underneath goal. So this is my actuators for coin, and this is my actuators for goal. I'm going to say add coin. So I'm going to change the mode to add, coins collected, and just going to add 1 to that and collect that up here. So this is all my logic for coin, and it's spanning over to my logic for my goal. Now I could just focus on the logic on my goal without worrying about the coin. So for my goal, I want to detect a collision with the player. And you can do this on the player logic too, it's up to you. I like doing it on the goal because if you have multiple levels, you can have each goal send you to like a different level. So this could send you to like level 2, for instance. So if we collect with this goal, if the player collides with this goal, we're going to go to a you win screen. I still need to create that screen. So I'm just going to create a dummy scene in here real quick and call it you win. But for right now, it's just going to go to the void. I'll show in a different video how to create a you win screen. So I'm going to add a scene actuator to my goal. Just call it next. So right now it's going to go to the you win screen, but I could eventually say like go to the next level. All right, so if the player collides with the goal, go to the next screen. But this doesn't take into account whether the player has collected enough coins or not. Remember, even if the goal is invisible, the player can still collide with it. So we actually need to add a sensor to check the number of coins. I'm going to call this has coins because the box is a little bit small. If you minimize it, it can be difficult to see. So I keep the names kind of small as I can. Has coins. I'm going to say greater than, coins collected is greater than 2. You have to collect at least 2 coins. The reason I'm not using equals is because smart programmers always look both ways when crossing the street. That means if you set it equal to 3 and for some reason you collect 4 coins, you won't be able to end the level. So using like a bound greater than or less than is going to make it a lot more reliable. All right, so we have our coin logic where the player collides with the coin, it hides the coin, it adds to the coin counter. We have our goal logic that detects if the player has enough coins, then they go to the next level. Oh, also we made this invisible. So I'm going to add another controller to this. If we have enough coins, we're going to show the goal. Show. All right. So if the player has enough coins and collides with the goal, they go to the next scene. If the player has enough coins, the goal becomes visible. If the player collects the coin goes away, and we add to the coin counter. Alrighty, so let's try this out. 1 coin, 2 coins. I'm going to skip this coin for a second. We get to the end. Oh no, there's no goal. Oh, we're still running into it. Oh, because I didn't make it a ghost. I can go back and do that. Alright, got that coin. My goal is visible. And we're not running into it. Why is that? Is it because it's not a ghost? Coin, coin, coin. There we go. Alright. So because it wasn't a ghost, when it does these collisions, there's a little bit of margin of error between that Blender includes so you don't clip into the object. So making the object a ghost will make it easier to collide with it. All right, so that concludes this video. We created our collectible. You have to get 3 of them. We created our goal, and then we added the logic to handle the collectible and the goal. Thanks for watching, and happy blending.